Hello, everybody. This is Mark Lynn from Healthcare Business Specialist in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'd like to welcome you to our first pop-up webinar called CARES Act Provider Relief Fund. If you're a rural health clinic, you should have received a nice little bonus check in your daily receipts. When you look at your bank statement this morning, you should have received a portion of $30 billion that the federal government sent out last night, and so you should have that in your checking account. My name again is Mark Lynn. I'm a CPA from Chattanooga. I work with healthcare business specialists, and we work with rural health clinics. Danny Gilbert is also with us. She will not be on this webinar today. She is busy working on cost reports, and let's move on. Facebook group. If you've not become a member of our Facebook group, it has grown from 850 members there to almost 1,500 in the last couple months. So a lot of great information is out there. A lot of great consultants are helping people on a daily basis there. So definitely join that if you haven't already. What we do, like I mentioned before, we do prepare a lot of cost reports this time of year. So if we are doing a cost report for us, just because I've been busy with COVID-19, it doesn't mean that Danny and Trent have not been working on cost reports, and I'm still reviewing a bunch of cost reports and getting those out as we speak. So do get your information into us. We would appreciate that. Where I've been spending the majority of my time is on ruralhealthclinic.com on COVID-19 resources. You'll see that we update this pretty much every day. And so you want to go here to find information such as the slide presentation, such as the recording of this video will be there as well. It'll be posted on YouTube and into the Facebook group as well. So keep that in mind. The reason why this money was distributed to you this morning was the CARES Act Provider Relief Fund. And this is a meme. I'm getting really good with my memes here lately. I'm coming into this century. But direct deposit relief funds, an HSS relief fund payment showed up into your account this morning. Here is the HHS website that describes what this money is for and how it was distributed. And the great thing about this is it is a grant. You will not have to pay this money back. And we'll go through each of these items here. Basically, I copied and pasted each one of these items so we could go through and I could give it a little bit of context as we go through. Basically, there's $100 billion that were set aside in the CARES Act, and CMS is distributing $30 billion of this morning. There's another $70 billion that's going to come out sometime. What I would do is the NARHC has a survey report. It's about 8 questions long. Should take 5 or 10 minutes to complete, if that. Fill that out so that Bill and Nathan can work in Washington, D.C. to get you guys the right amount of money into the right places into the system, and that survey will be very, very helpful. So that $70 billion will be coming out soon. Also, phase 4 of the stimulus related to coronavirus they're working on it now, and that will come out in the future as well. The key thing in bold here is these are payments, not loans to healthcare providers that will not need to be repaid, unlike the accelerated payment system that we are familiar with. So who is eligible for this $30 billion? Basically, if you received money from Medicare Part A or from Medicare Part B fee-for-service last year, then you should be eligible for this. So keep that in mind. You should have received this money, and we'll show you if you didn't get the money, then we'll show you how to track that down in one of the later slides. And so there's $484 billion of Medicare money that was paid last year. Well, let me show you this next slide. This will actually tell you how the payment was distributed to you, how they came up with the number. First thing they did was they took the total Medicare payments last year of $484 billion. That's a big number. And then what you want to do is look at your PSNR report and determine what your net payments were in 2019. And in this case, we had $100,000. Let me tell you, this number will be very, very small. Most of the rural health clinics that we work with, you'd be surprised how little Medicare money that you receive each year due to copays, due to deductibles, and due to the fact that if you're an independent RHC, they only pay you $70 a visit anyway. So you're always amazed how little money you get. So in this case here, we're going to use $100,000 as the average payment. What you want to do is divide that $100,000 into the $484 billion. It becomes an astronomically small number, a number so small I can't even pronounce. And I like this quote from President Trump here. I've been briefed on every contingency you can possibly imagine. Many contingencies, a lot of positive, different numbers, all different numbers, very large numbers, and some small numbers too, by the way. You guys are having the small number right here. So this is this 2.00660, whatever that number is, that's your percentage of the Medicare, of total Medicare expenditures, which is infinitely small. Then you take that number, multiply that by the $30 billion that Medicare distributed today, and that will give you your percentage. So in this case here, if you had about $100,000 of payments, you should have received approximately $6,200 in your EFT today. Not a lot of money, but as my mom used to say, it's better than a poking eye, and it will certainly come in handy to pay some bills that you guys have. So that's how they compute it. It's probably not exactly, but it's going to be pretty close to that methodology that I just came up with. So again, this is not like the accelerated payment program where you will have to pay that money back after 120 days. That has to be completely paid back within 210 days, or Medicare will start charging you 10.25% interest. Of course, I would recommend you get that money, get it advanced so you can survive during this time. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide and these are the different types of providers that were paid. They typically going to use the employer ID number, the TIN number, to send the money out. You should have an EFT agreement with that TIN number, and then that's how they distributed money to you. One thing that you have to be very careful about, and it shouldn't be a big deal, is to get this money, you cannot balance bill your Medicare patients, and you wouldn't be doing that anyways. That's a part of the participation agreement as a rural health clinic. And what they mean by balance billing is, for example, you have a $100 charge for a Medicare RHC patient. There's a $20 copay that's due from the patient. And then if you're an independent RHC, your cap rate is $86.31. You multiply that by 80%, that comes up to about $70. So you'll get $70 from Medicare. You'll get $20 from the patient. That's $90. In your balance there, that $10, you'll have to write that off as a contractual adjustment. You can't go after the patient for that additional $10 that you should have been paid based upon your charges. You have to write that off as a contractual adjustment. It's called balance billing if you actually tried to collect that extra $10 from the patient. So I know you guys don't do that, but that was a condition of receiving this money. Here, Bill Fennerfrock, the executive director of the NARHC, did put together a post on the National Association of Rural Health Clinics listserv that tells you how to track down your payment if you didn't get that today. Here is the number, 866-569-3522. And so we do recommend that you join the National Association of Rural Health Clinics. Or even if you don't join, you can still participate in the listserv and get this type of information. There's no charge for that. I think that's HRSA funded as well. So this is the instructions on how to track down your EFT if you didn't get it. Of course, money from the government always comes with strings. There's about 10 pages of strings attached to this. So you want to click on this link, look this over. I believe you have to sign it somewhere and submit it back to them. I didn't really follow the instructions that well, but I did read the whole 10 pages, and there doesn't seem to be anything very onerous in here. So it seems like something that you definitely want to do. It did require you to do some type of reporting each quarter that's due 10 days after each quarter if you received more than 150,000 or more in total funds this morning, which I don't know of any rural health clinic that's going to get that much. I mean, most of the ones I've seen got checked for $4,000 or $5,000, maybe $3,000 this morning. But if you did get a relatively large check here, you're going to be required to do some accounting for that. We developed a little form here to help with that. I would recommend keeping up with how you spend this money, because you will be held accountable for it in some form or fashion eventually, and we'll want to keep up with that. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for listening to our first pop-up webinar. We appreciate it. We appreciate our sponsors, ChartSpan, Azalea Health, and of course, this is Mark Lynn from Healthcare Business Specialist, and our prayers are with you, and please be safe out there. And I will stop the recording now. Thank you very much.